Hi students, I welcome you all for the online learning platform. In the previous lecture, we discussed about the introduction to factor simulation, the benefits, the key elements, and the necessary knowledge background, what is essential. In short, the prerequisite for factor simulation we discussed in the earlier lecture. Now, with respect to it, now we will get into the introduction to the software. So, for the case of factor simulation in our curriculum, we are going to use a software by name Visual Components. So, this is how the logo of the company looks like, and initially we will get into the GUI part and its appearance and the features, the plug and play mechanism. So, coming to the version of the software, it is Premium 4.8 version we are using. So, in short, here in this particular online platform, in the series of lecture, the second lecture, we are going to learn about Visual Component software version 4.8 and premium segment, where how the GUI is going to look like and how are we going to proceed with respect to the software. So here the software, basic nature of the software is it is going to work based on PNP mechanism. PNP means plug and play mechanism. That is, the components are ready-madely available in a library, and that library, the software calls it as e-catalog. E-catalog is available. So from the e-catalog, we can pick and place to the working space. The working space is nothing but the GUI, which is open for the designer to custom built in or to develop the configuration what they wish to have. So here all the components, so on an average, there are 3000 plus components are available, right from layout, even a small feeder, geometries, various geometries to complicated robots and all such things are there. So when you have the glance over this library, the library is called as e-catalog. So e-catalog, it's going to have a appearance like this. On the first image to the left of the screen, what you look is going to be the appearance. So now let us take, there are two compartments over there. The first compartments on the right side image, what you see here, it is going to have the catalog part where it is going to clearly specify all the models arranged into several subsystems. For example, if you opened recently some models, obviously that comes into recent models. When you go for certain models which are inactive, it is going to fall under the category of currently open. And the one which are frequently used is going to be in the case of most used. So apart from this, there are certain segments of components which time and again we use, time and again. And obviously that can be saved into my models. So this is how it goes on. And again, there are certain sub-classifications are there. The classifications are models by type and models by manufacturer. Models by type means, for example, conveyor. There are different types of conveyors are there. So when you get into models by type means, you will have the term conveyor, a folder being placed here. When you have a glance on the left part, a conveyor folder will be there. And the moment you click up it, it is going to show you the various different types of conveyors. The moment you pick up any one conveyor and you can see the image, it is going to be something like a preview of that particular component. So what the component you wish to go ahead is just left click them, pick and paste it onto the screen, and therefore the component is actively ready-madely available for the designer to go ahead with the designs. Then the same thing, models coming for the next, models by manufacturer. Models by manufacturer means the same conveyor, there are plenty of manufacturers are there. For example, ABB is there, Fanuc, and there are so many global manufacturers are there. So when you go, the moment when you go for models by manufacturer, here you will not be able to get the component based on the name. Rather than that, it is going to be assorted by means of manufacturer. ABB, Asian Brown Brewery Company, they manufacture robots. So again, you will have sub classifications within that, and from there you are free to pick and place. So you are going to just select the component from the preview box and you are going to bring it to the GUI. So it is going to be a P and P mechanism. Now, as we discussed earlier, this is how the mechanism is going to look like. So time and again, when we use frequently, it is going to be in any of the settings. Therefore, the process of searching is going to be minimized. So it is only a preamble introduction, basic introduction to the software. However, in the upcoming lectures, where directly we will be showing you the software, the ways and means, how do you do all such things. So this is only a mere introduction. Now, is it the only way where we can go and pick and place? Means no. If you know the specification, if you know the name of the product, so here you have got a search option. So in the search option, directly you can enter your product name, and obviously that is going to filter up. The similar way how we do filtering mechanism in Excel package, the same way when you start typing robot, RO means what are the product, by the name of RO, it is going to easily, it is going to be scrolled down. So from that also you can pick up. So initially you might be having a little bit of resistance with respect to this, but absolutely it is going to be easy to do. Now, this is what I said. Now, there are two options over there. When you keep, for example, let us go for the second case. Second case, the image on the right side, what will happen is you have chosen the folder feeder, and when you search robot in this category, definitely you will not be shown with the product of feeder. Why? Because you are in the feeder folder, so you can't get a robot into the feeder folder. So therefore, what are the products pertaining to feeder? Only it will be there. Then there might be a question, then how do I get a robot in this regard? So let us come back to the left image where the cursor has to be under all models. Now you can come and search for robot. So let me make it clear again. When you are in the feeder folder, when you search for anything apart from accessory related to feeder, you will not be shown, you will not be getting, nothing will be there to display. That's the answer what you get. So how you are supposed to do is go to all models. If you don't know what is where that particular product is available, go to all model and go for search and search by their name, then you get it. The moment you get the preview, easily you can pick and place. So that's easy, the PNP mechanism is all about. Now coming for the other things, in the sense there are certain custom built-in components or there, custom built-in components. So when you want to rearrange, yes, again it is possible. And on a generic case, from a learner's perspective, what the software developers have did is, under models by type, default, there is one particular thing called as visual components. So it is going to be representation of that particular product, which is free from the manufacturer. When the customer end, that is, for example, let's pray God that you get a carrier in this regard, where you are intended to do so, but it is left at the discretion of the end customer, then you need not to specify about the manufacturer. You just tell them it's a feeder. So under those cases, generic components can be brought from visual components. So the term itself will be, just say for example, generic articulated robot. Generic, it is kept at the discretion of the end user based on their need, based on the necessity, as well based on the investment capacity. They are free to select the manufacturer whomever they wish, or even they can fabricate it on own. So that's how the visual components versatility plays a very crucial role, because majority of the aspects we wanted to know the mechanism, how it works, the way how do we configure, the way how do we do the process modeling. That's the prime focus, not the manufacturer. But the software is versatile enough, even it is having manufacturer. Now the main thing is deprecation. Deprecation means there are certain components which gets obsolete with respect to time, outdated with respect to time. But still, when you go for traditional mechanism and when you want to convert the traditional mechanism into a newer mechanism, under those circumstances, such outdated product need not to be deleted from the library, from the A catalog. Rather than that, that can be kept under the category called as deprecated components. So you need not to delete them, you need not to remove them, you can just store in that particular area. Maybe in future, some circumstances may make a call where you need to develop a Deprecated component means again we need not to do right from scratch. So whichever the components you feel as deprecated, outdated, those things can be preserved in the deprecated components. And as such, when you go for deprecated components, there are plenty of products are available that is left for the individual user to gain knowledge upon the deprecation. What's the nature? It is going to be an interesting study in future. And now, when you select one particular product, there might be multiple product will be there. For example, the image what you see on the left, there is one thing called as generic feeder. There is one thing called as signal feeder. Now, both the things seems to be same. This is also a feeder. This is also a feeder. But what is going to be the functionality of it? And how the working mechanism is going to be. What all are the associated components necessary for both the feeders when you want to know? So it's very simple. When you are in a dilemma, which component has to be selected, the software is having a very crystal clear mechanism. What you do is just go to the component, right click. On the third option, you see a tab by name view metadata. View metadata. The moment you click on the view metadata, on the right side a dialog box is going to pop up. It is going to talk completely about that particular product, what that product is going to do, what is the particulars of that, what is the specification of that, and what all are the elements necessary in that particular product process modeling. What should be the prior to it, who will be the successor, all such things will be dealt by it. So based on that also you are free to select. When you are in a confused state or when you are not having a clarity which product should be chosen, initially identify, say some 2-3 products will be there, go to their metadata, have a glance over the metadata. Based on that you are free to select. And now a VCID. VCID means visual components identity, because deliverables, when you do any experiment or when you do a layout design, what will be the deliverables, what will be the thing you give to the customer is a bill of materials. A bill of materials you are going to specify. Let me give you a simple example. You wanted to do some mini fabrication project, a hardware you wanted to fabricate. Say for example, there are some 4 components are there. Component A, B, C and D. What is the size of A? What is the material? Who is the manufacturer? So such details should be there. How many numbers you require? So all these things are going to be summarized into a tabular format, and that table is called as bill of materials. So here, when you go for several components, each and every component has its own size, shape, specification. Apart from manufacturer, these things are very mandatory. So all these things has to be presented in a materials format, BOM format. So therefore, this ID plays a crucial thing. So when you look into a computer integrated manufacturing setup, it is going to be called as part number. So based on that, part families are going to be built up, and using that even cellular manufacturing is also possible. As we discussed in the previous lecture, the main essence of visual components or any factory simulation is it should take us to a real world system. Apart from that, virtually it should help us in building up a digital twin technology. So this is going to be one of the unique platform. You have got some 10 to 15 components in your assembly, and each and everything will have its own name, and VCID is going to be mandatory so that the max selection of that particular product will be easy for the end user. So that's the purpose of VCID. And of course, in the metadata table, the initial data which is going to be displayed is nothing but the VCID. And now, some cases, it may not be to our requirement. It may not be to our requirement, or some custom built-in things need to be developed. For example, there is a trolley which is of 1 meter long, but I wanted to have it into some other stand apart from the standard size of 1 meter. We wanted to have something else, means don't edit the existing data. Let the e-catalog be the master. Don't do any sort of or don't make any attempt to alter the sizes of the existing products in the catalog. Then how you can do is make it into a new source. That means copy it. Just we are duplicating it, and there you can go, you can edit to the size whatever you want. So in this case of example, we just name a folder by name training, and all such things can be pasted there. It can be saved there so that we can use for our own local understanding or for examination point of view or for learning perspective. But as far as let us fix a rule like this, not to disturb the product sizes, shape or the specification which is available in the e-catalog, because when we complete our task, somebody else will be coming and working in the software, and they should not have they should not have an ambiguity in this regard. So therefore that has to be taken care. Smart collection. So when you are doing for one particular case, for example, you are doing any project in this regard, means you can custom build in such components what we discussed in the earlier slide, that can be easily stored in one particular thing called as our smart collection. So under that you can have any different name and you can save it. So with this, we finish the basic introduction to GUI. So any doubts in this regard, please come up and get it clarified. So once again, I congratulate you guys for this happy learning process. So in the offline class, you will have a demo over this particular software. However, in the upcoming lectures, we will just go ahead with recording of the software and post it in the same online learning platform. Thank you all.